A lot goes into making a forecast, and all three KTTC meteorologists have a different routine. Ted's up first.
I get to work a little after 3 in the morning. I have to get ready for the morning show, and then of course I have Fox in the morning, and it comes up right after that. So I kind of try to get everything out of the way early. That way I know there's a quick turnaround. I don't have to do a lot in a short amount of time. But it still is very action-packed, very busy morning. What I do is I look at a lot of stuff online, looking at the current observations at the surface and aloft to look at satellite radar information. So we're looking at what's going on, if it's going to be cloudy for a while, if we have clouds coming in, if you're looking for precipitation. Reading forecast discussions from the National Weather Service, the different offices, La Crosse, Des Moines, Chanhassen, and the Twin Cities, or even Omaha. So things like that to kind of prep myself to see what's going on right now, and then I can look ahead and see what's coming up in the future.
What about the noon show?
There's always stuff coming in between 8, 10, 11 o'clock. There's new model data that comes in, and I can compare that to what I had originally and say, well, okay, this forecast, it looks like things are on pace to be where I thought they would be, or there may be something to tweak.
What's the best part of your shift, Ted?
It's kind of fast-paced, so I don't feel like I sit there and wait for a long time. I have a segment in each portion of the show, each block of the show between commercial breaks. There is a weather segment, whether it's 30 seconds or 2.5 minutes, but they're all relatively short, but they're actually they keep me on my toes.
All right, let's hear from Randy.
All right, afternoon shift, evening shift, not a lot different from what might happen in the morning shift, although it's a little higher pressure for the morning run, getting through a lot of data. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to work through the basics. So I'm going to write down my forecast and then get that into the computer. But in order to forecast, the first thing that I'm doing is looking outside on my way to work, actually looking out the window, contrary to maybe popular belief, and then looking at everything that's happening now across the country. So radar data, satellite data, surface observations, and then looking at the extended model data out from the next 6 hours to the next 7 days. And then taking about anywhere from a half an hour to an hour to put together that forecast. So I'm going to start with tonight, tomorrow, and then work through the next 7 days. And I'm going to double check what I come up with against the shift before me so that we're on line with what's going on and in line with each other's forecast, and then getting that into the system before we do all our work on air. And a lot of what we do now is updating databases. So we're spending a lot of time getting everything into the graphic system here, and then getting everything updated online for our website, for closed captioning, and all the different directions that our forecast is going.
Last but not least, you got me.
My schedule is pretty similar to Randy's. I get here at 2 on the weekends as well. And as far as what I do differently than them, of course, we don't have as many shows on the weekend. We only have 2 on Saturdays at 6 and at 10 o'clock. And then on Sunday, we have the Fox show at 9, and then a 10 o'clock show on Sundays. So I kind of have a little bit more time to come up with cool graphics. You know, I can go hang out in the newsroom with the weekend team maybe a little bit more than Randy and Ted would normally get to. Of course, Ted, he's got to do everything really quick for the morning show, and then Randy, he's got a similar schedule to me, but he's got more shows that he has to prepare for. Another thing that's a little bit different about the weekend, Ted will have usually 2.5 minutes for his weather segments in the morning show, and then he'll have 3 for the noon. And then for Randy, he has 3 minutes for every show he does, 5, 6, 9, and 10. For me, on the weekends, for the 6 and the 10 on Saturday, and then also the 5 and the 10 on Sunday, I have 3.5 minutes. So I also have to come up with extra graphics that they might not necessarily have to use. So I think I have to use maybe a little bit more creativity than they do, but it makes sense since I have to fill more time for our newscast. Well, that's it. I hope you learned a little bit about what we do here in the Forecast Center. Lots of stuff goes into our job on the day-to-day basis, so thanks for checking out this little behind the scenes of our little Forecast Center.